Okay, let's go. Hi, I'm Richard,
Hey, I'm Lawrence.
and we're the author of two books,
Witness meditation and
Unbecoming.
yeah,
And we've written a couple of others that are coming out soon.
yeah. Uh,
And today we want to continue talking about. I want to apply Enlightenment theory to regular everyday situations. And we were talking about subjects we might share with you today and how to work in that theory into your day-to-day life. And what's more topical that hits all of us is death.
yeah.
So,
So yeah, we're gonna talk about death
fun
and
topic.
yeah, it is fun.
Well, no, it's depressing, but it does hit all of us, and it's something we experience um, throughout life. You know, if we're like most people, we'll see our parents go before us, and some of our friends. And I just this morning opened my email and I saw a guy that I met a few months ago in Vancouver had just recently passed away. So it hits all of us, and it can shake us. It can put us in a bad mood. Um, so what we want to really talk about today is how we deal with the emotions that come around that.
You know, losing parents, losing elderly is not dreadful compared to losing kids,
Of course,
because no parents want to see their kids going before them.
right?
That is, I think, more painful than losing, the elderly.
Yeah,
But if there's understanding of everything is transitory, nothing is permanent, then that understanding makes people be in peace.
sure. But even losing your parents is it's stressful, and it can have a very negative impact on you for a while. I'm an orphan, and my father passed away, I guess, 20 years ago, and my mother about 5 years ago now. And you have a different perspective on your mortality and where your life is going, and it's draining. So, how do I feel about that? Well, it's kind of a bummer.
It's nice to have the personal story. When we reflect in our own life, then it becomes real, isn't it? Because we're just not talking about the death and putting this idea.
No, but what are we really experiencing? We're experiencing the fear of the unknown, the fear of death. It's unknown. People have ideas. Maybe we're going to float around on clouds and I don't know, have a good time, see all our friends and our family and pets from before. Maybe there's nothing. We don't know. So there's a
Yeah.
bit of a fear, right?
The fear of unknown is there, but thing is that the fear the fear of death, even the fear of death is there, we won't be able to be there to witness the death. That's the, you know,
Well,
the
we may
blessing.
witness our
That's the
death,
blessing.
but
Our own death,
yeah,
we won't be there, but we will be witnessing our environment, you know, uh,
yeah, other people that
changing.
affect us. Yeah,
Yeah. But when we think about the death, we think about our own death. And thinking about our own death makes people fear about death.
well, it does more than fear. The fear gives them potentially they're seeking alternatives or avenues to make sense of that death. Maybe they're joining religions. Maybe they're spending all of their money. Maybe they're trying very hard to impart all of their knowledge to their children, right?
Basically, it all comes down to not able to be here to go through the experience, to go through the fun.
Yeah.
And that makes people to resist death.
Hmm.
And everybody right now is trying to prolong life
Right.
with exercise, with the diet, with, you know, all these scientific uh, things are happening to support life.
Right. So, okay, we all have our own experiences with death. Everyone who's listening to this, I'm sure, has known somebody who's died, someone perhaps very close to them. So, how do we deal with that? I think in this series of videos, we want to talk again about how we experience the emotions that we come across. We've said before that we're not our thoughts, we're not our emotions. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Before we talk about that, you know, the gradual shift that we can invite in our lives by looking what's happening in the world. You know, everything is shifting. Everything is, you know, dying, and that death is creating a gap for new things to emerge.
That's right.
You know, the sunny day becomes a dark night. You know, the trees lose all their leaves for new leaves to emerge.
And then the old leaves go onto the ground and they become soil for the new.
Yeah, there's
trees.
always
Yeah.
the
It's a cycle of life.
cycle of life.
Yeah.
Um, and our body is also changing like that. You know, from we were baby, now we are adult. We're gonna get old, which you are already.
Oh, thank you. Not that old. Well, old enough.
Notice people don't like to hear that. Oh, you're old, right? Because that, especially in the modern world, when someone is trying to prolong life, the idea of old is like people get defensive. You know.
Yeah.
So that defensiveness is also like is rejecting
And-
or pushing away
And
the death.
everybody's afraid of death. I have recently been reading all of the tech moguls. They're all investing in or looking at ways that they can live forever. So they want to either freeze their body or save
yeah.
their mind, right?
I have heard this. I've seen the video actually. It's on the YouTube's. People are freezing.
Cryogenically freezing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Um, what was I talking before? Lost the track. I was talking about
He's
the
not
death.
very interesting, so I'm not even listening to what he's talking about.
No, I was mentioning like we were baby, then we get we change to adult, and then we get old, and we're gonna die, right?
Yeah, it's very.
We are also transitioning, towards that, just like the nature. So accepting that we will be leaving, there's no doubt on that. Nobody can cheat death. Nobody
Not
can
yet.
prolong this life.
Right,
Prolong life to avoid death.
right,
There is yes, with a proper diet, with exercise, there's there's extension,
right.
but there's no ultimate extension to this. So if this understanding is there, then it's much easier to accept death. However, right? Even we accept death, we all gotta die. Physical death, the ultimate death, we accept. But when it comes to spiritual freedom, freedom from the inner conflict, freedom from the fear, we deny, we try to resist the metaphorical death,
Right,
the death of the ego.
right,
And when we accept the ultimate death but deny the spiritual death, denying that spiritual death itself brings so much struggle. And pretty much that is the whole world. The world avoids the death of the mind. Yeah,
Oh, it's a
and death,
pretty sad thing. We've
avoiding the death of the mind means allowing oneself to anchor in the false, not realizing that anchoring in the mind is anchoring in the false, anchoring in the illusion. And when we anchor in the illusion and move from that, that means we are self imposing the suffering. And that's what the world is right now. That's how everyone's life is. Everybody identify oneself with the mind and moving in the mind, and you know, that's the movement, and that's the sad reality.
Well, in the credentials-based world we live in, people want to be intelligent. We all want that. But they identify themselves with their thoughts completely. If I ask you who you are, you probably say your name and your sex and your mind, your thoughts,
Your upgrades.
your upgrades. But those are things that you have that pass through your consciousness, right? These are things that can be seen in a moment in time. So you don't have to be hijacked by these emotions, right? You're not your emotions.
You know, there's nothing wrong to go through the upgrades in life. You know, there's nothing wrong to enjoy
you need
life.
them so you can buy a cup of coffee, right? Gotta have it. It's true.
But when we identify ourselves with the mind and ingrain in the mind, seeing the mind as a true reality, then there's an issue with that. The reason to anchor in the mind is because there is a forgetfulness or lack of awareness that all our credential, all our upgrades, whatever we are making in life, is coming from the outside. It's coming from the experience. We go through the experience, and the experience leaves the idea in us, and there's an idea of likes and dislike, and we anchor in the positive one, and we prolong that positive game, and we invite all sorts of layers. And that layers are basically who we are.
Yeah.
But we don't see that everything is coming from the outside, and we don't even be part of the investigation that's not you. That's the layers.
That's because you
That's
accept it as a layer.
Yeah, that's the extension on you, but not
Yeah.
who you are.
Right.
And when that is happening, you know, and then there's a resistance to the death.
Yeah.
Especially the ego is about prolonging the game. It's about identifying and building on that identification, making the kingdom out of it, you know, and living in it.
Right.
And the death of the ego, spiritual death, is about investigating those layers to see whether those layers are true or not. And from that process, one is able to see what is the background that supports all layers to rise and fall. And pretty much that part of the journey is lacking in the world.
Well, it's really understanding who you truly are, right?
Yeah.
So it's too bad that we have to go through this process. We couldn't just be born and be a little bit clearer. I was going to say smarter, but clear about this, understanding who we really are. We mentioned last time you're given your name, everything you've got till you're, you know, a young adult has been given to you. And that's good. It transmits cultural heritage and family values and all of that. But those values may not ultimately be who you feel you truly are, right? They may hold you back.
When it comes to waking up to the truth of oneself, those values is the limitation. That those values are the ideas.
So-
And truth is not an idea, truth is not a belief, truth is not a culture.
Okay, but in the terms of this discussion around death, let's take a look at religion. So you're born, your parents send you to Sunday school or to the synagogue or to the mosque, whatever it may be. Let's assume they want you to be religious, so you join one, and they all have their stories and their values about living life and what death is, right? So they tell you. It's like a nice little roadmap.
There is reference of death in every religion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have it's like a get out of jail free card, right?
in
Oh,
what,
I get to lay on a cloud, or I get 72 virgins, or right, whatever it may
Yeah.
be.
if you think about the Christianity, before you enter the church, there is a word outside, silence.
Yeah.
That's the sign of death, you
Yeah.
know. And when you go inside, now Jesus is hung on that cross.
Yeah,
That's the death.
that is the death.
You know,
He died for
that's
our
what
sins kind
that's
of thing.
what's
Yeah.
the story,
That's
that
the
he
story.
died for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, but this is where people, from my point of view, from my experience of the spiritual death, that is a symbol that you must die to reborn,
Right.
you know. But how the world is
Well,
taking
yeah.
that is Jesus died for you, so you be the slave of the Jesus.
Well,
I know it's a harsh word, but that's what's happening. Everybody go to the church and pray,
if you accept
and
him in your
hoping that Jesus to
heart,
do the work for you.
yeah, that's it. If you accept him in your heart, then he's died for you, and you will have eternal salvation. That's a nice story.
It's
You
a
know.
it's a heartwarming story.
And I don't think our point here is to tell you not to believe in religion, either one. That's not what we're here to talk about today. You have the right to think whatever you want.
But and our point, at least from my side, is every religion references death,
Yeah,
and that death is the death of the ego. To find the Jesus in you, or find the whatever God you're aligned with, to realize God, if you like the name God, then you must die in the ego to get there.
uh-huh.
So that's the whole reference of the spiritual of the religion, you know, referencing, but the reference is completely. The reference is somewhat, what do you call that word? Misled
Right.
by the people for the people. Yeah.
Yeah. So if generally if society is immediately told that there's no salvation, there's nothing after death, I think people could get a little freaked out. Maybe they're going to cause disruption, right?
But thing is that
Because of the fear
no
of death.
one knows what's going to happen after death. You know, no one has come back from the death.
Close.
You know, like
Near-death encounters.
near death, but near death experience is not death.
No.
That
No.
means done deal. Who,
Oh, Bride of
But-
Frankenstein, you know.
you know, is that real? That's the thing, you know. No one has come back from the death. So if you are playing with the idea that there is a life after death, where is this idea coming from? You know, it's just a make believe, or what? Basically, it's just the hope that creating in the world that there's something after this.
Okay. So,
Imagine that this is where we can point to certain culture that, as you mentioned, that you die for the people, you sacrifice yourself and then you'll have a 72 or something virgin.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
I don't want to
Who-
piss
who
off
died?
450 million
Who died?
Muslims. So
Who came back from the death to tell this story? It's just a story. It just, you know, it's
I-
just the hope gets so, that hyped up
yeah,
that people just believe in stuff.
because of fear. So
Yeah,
again,
again
I
comes
do
the-
want to talk about this now because this is important. So the way I want to imply or apply enlightenment theory into an everyday situation like how we're afraid of death is again understanding we're afraid. It's an emotion, and that emotion overtakes us, and we want to hide or run away from that emotion. So we find things to believe, and we create all of these layers to make an understanding of what life or life after death is. So I think the key is to actually see the emotion
Yeah.
and not let the emotion run you. So again, we said earlier, you're not your thoughts. That sounds weird, of course. You think, but thoughts pass through your consciousness. Emotions pass through your consciousness. Just like the sky behind us, it's rainy, it's cloudy. These clouds and rain are passing through the sky. This is really important. So when you're afraid of death, you have these terrible emotions. Someone's just died, or you're afraid of death, or you're at the church and what the pastor has said or a mom has said has scared you, right? It's an emotion. You have to see it in your consciousness, not have that emotion run you. And when you can do that, when you can separate yourself, there's no fear.
Basically, when the idea of death is fluctuating you physically, mentally, then instead of ignoring or running away from this fluctuation, the person should investigate why this idea, the idea of death, fluctuates me.
Yeah.
That's the part people need to incorporate in their life. Self-inquiry has to be there, and that's the process to, understand the nature of the mind, understand one's own, ingrained belief, and the process teaches the person to how the mind come into existence and how the mind becomes real in the person. So self-inquiry is the solution. However, the self-inquiry is the one thing that is, less incorporated in everyone's life.
And it's almost counterintuitive in a way, because since birth, we're raised to accomplish things, to gain credentials, to get ahead in life. This is a very competitive world that we live in.
Every day, our life is moving like that.
Yeah.
The whole world is moving like that.
And
It's
we're told
more,
more.
reach heights. It's like
Yeah.
it's like climbing the Mount Everest, and even you reach the Mount Everest, you create another height.
That's right.
That's
You're never happy.
Yeah.
You're always going. And we're not saying that you shouldn't do that. We're not asking you to be like that guru who sits on the top of the mountain that people come up to and ask for the wisdom of the ages. You have to live in the real world, right? So you need these kind of accomplishments, these credentials, the things that will make you be able to afford the cup of coffee or more.
But there has to be, in the outward journey wise, living life, people need to, find the balance.
Yeah.
People need to understand when enough is enough. So that has to be there.
Or even to see why what is enough is what isn't. Do I really have to have it? In our lives, sometimes we think we really must have something. And then when we get it, like you said, the mountain's not high enough. I want something higher. So we're chasing things through our life. Maybe we're chasing the wrong things. Maybe we need to put things into perspective and not be led by the emotion. When we are in control of the emotion, I think life
It's
is
it's all
much
comes
better.
down to the fear, fear of not having enough,
Yeah,
fear of uncertainty,
yeah,
and this fear of uncertainty, fear of unknown, is already coming from the place of past, you know, past struggle. So the fear is the past itself. When your life was difficult in the past, and when you go to the experience of having things makes life much easier, then naturally we connect to that and hold on to that because I don't want to suffer anymore. So holding is better than suffering. So
yeah,
that's how life unfolds, and people just keep holding and keep building on that and keep piling up,
yeah,
and you know, and that's where person don't recognize that the ego is torturing the person, you know,
yeah,
because when you have too much in the head, when you have your anchor in the fear, nothing is enough for you.
yeah,
The climbing, even the reaching the Mount Everest is not enough in a wealth sense,
right. Yeah,
So
no, it's true.
yeah.
So basically, how would we summarize this then? How would you like to phrase it?
you know there are ideas in the spiritual world. This idea, live it like it's your last day,
Yeah, yeah.
last day or
Your bucket
other.
list, all of these kind of
Yeah,
things. Yeah,
but live your life like it's last day also fluctuates people. There's emotional and mental fluctuations. Oh fuck,
yeah. It gives you expectations and pressure.
Okay, only good thing about this reference is live it like it's last day, fluctuates you, and now you investigate on this fluctuation, and that can lead you to really live it like it's your last day, like you living fearlessly, living without the mental drama,
Yeah,
living without the mental narratives.
yeah,
That's great if we investigate and figure out what's the truth, you know, underneath all this stuff you're holding on. So that idea is there, but that idea itself is played by the ego now.
yeah,
That's the that's the sad reality. When people have so much ego, they will hold on. Oh, live it like the last day, no, like, but really, you know, if you have a fear in you, that is just you're altering. You know, you're just picking one idea uh, to replace another idea.
yeah,
That's what the ego does, especially when the people are identify themselves as a spiritual being. This idea is crazy upgrade, isn't it? It's about the death, accepting death. Death leads to true liberation, and living your life like the last day is like what? Oh, infusing your ego with that, making the ego become stubborn in a spiritual identification sense.
yeah,
That's uh, that's what's happening in the world. Uh, Instead of working and attaching to one idea or the next idea, investigating one's own fear leads to overcome the physical death and overcome this spiritual death.
right.
That is a journey, and that's the solution here.
So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, we hope this makes sense, and we hope this is helping, and we hope you'll take, you know, your initiative journey in figuring out your true self.
Yeah, and your true self. We're not saying you should or shouldn't believe in religion. That's your choice. And that's who you feel you are once you've examined it, right? Does it fit? Does it not fit? Right?
Say it again. Sorry.
We're not telling people to believe or not believe in religion. They have to determine themselves these layers that they've been given since they were young. Does it actually fit?
The purpose of the religion is to create a healthy boundary in the world.
Yeah.
But right now it's forceful. It's forceful because truth is missing.
It's especially forceful if you didn't choose it, but it was thrust upon you, and you don't even know that.
It's always like that. The environment is just passing on to
Yeah.
stuff because people think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
You
It
know.
gives you freedom from fear. Right?
So here's the solution. Yes, religions, everything in the world, the positive stuff, can be a boundary, healthy boundary. But if you truly want to see what's the reason to have this religion in the world, is by understanding oneself.
Yeah.
If you see the truth in you, you will see the value of certain belief that is in the world. So it all comes down to know yourself, and you'll know the self, you will know the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the journey.
So the world is for each of us to seize and to find out who we are and how we fit in it, and to be free from emotions that cause us fear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got another book coming out soon. This is the satirical one. It's a bit fun. Want to talk about that? You remember what it's called?
It's been a while. We haven't looked at the book. It's you know, it's to make you laugh.
It's called Are We There Yet?
Yes, are we there yet? Correct. It's just to make you laugh. The book is trying to show you the pointers. What are the pitfalls, and what is the way to get to the destination.
And there's a lot of false gurus and a lot of charlatans out there that take advantage of people and try and take as much of their money as they can. And so we try and make fun of that, right? So you're aware that some of these things you're following are not truly spiritual. They're much more commercial than they appear.
Yeah.
And we've got a couple more coming after that that we're in the middle of writing as well. So we're writing machines, and you'll be getting more of it. So hopefully you'll find it interesting.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah. Thank you for watching, guys.
Thanks. See you next time.
Yeah. Take care. Bye.